Welcome back up, everybody. This is part 7 of Stav's build. I'm George.
This is Stav.
This is just gonna go to you. What are we doing today?
All right, guys. So today we're gonna be putting the rest of my motor together and getting it ready to mate for the transmission because we have a deadline of Thursday afternoon having this car running. We ran a little bit late today because we had to do some other things. But let's. So I got to get the water pump on, the what they call the crack pipe thermostat. I actually got. If you guys notice, I don't know how this happened. There's a crack in my timing cover now. When we put it on, there was no crack. So I'm going to assume that George got upset, tried to sabotage me, and hit it with a mallet or a hammer, which he's known for.
12 valve, man. They just can't hold up the power, even when they're not even under load.
The torque is crazy right now. I mean, it's crazy.
All right, so we got to swap out the timing cover, build up the rest of the side of the motor, put the accessories on. Maybe even put the oil pump on, get the pan on, get the motor ready to mate to the transmission so we can throw it into the car.
Correct. And then we get the flywheel clutch on and then throw it in the car and make, I don't know, somewhere in the range of 63 to 7,500 horsepower.
Right, okay. So we're going to assemble the rest of this motor today. We're going to replace the back timing cover. Unfortunately, we caught it last minute. Don't even know how that happened. Maybe it's just like a stress fracture or whatnot.
I'm pretty sure I know how it happened. You did.
Whoa. Hold up there. Let's look at the tape, huh? While Stav was installing his timing cover, during some time-lapse footage I didn't even use a few weeks ago, I think I saw the timing cover flex, and he was using a Milwaukee tool. So let's zoom in and see what's going on. No damage, damaged with a flex. No damage, damaged with a flex. So George is absolved of all crimes, and Stav broke his own timing cover. Thank you. That is all. So we got to swap that out real quick, put new gasket maker. We may even have to swap out the rear main seal. Hopefully we do that successfully without tearing it up.
Yeah.
And then we'll build up the rest of the motor. So part 7 of Stav's build. We're finishing up the rest of the prep on the motor, getting it ready to mate to the trans and throw in the car. And then after that, it's just buttoning everything up and then firing this thing up. So
and making anywhere between 63 and 7,500 horsepower.
Right, yeah. Okay, so we're going to, without further ado, guys, let's kick this off.
7,500 horsepower.
So as we're assembling this, we had to pull off the rear timing cover. Stav noticed that the rear main seal was damaged. We tried to reuse the old timing cover, and that one was pretty gunked up too, as you'll see in the pictures here in just a second. So we had to order one. It'll be in here tomorrow, so it's not going to really slow us down too much. But yeah, that was unfortunate because those things are kind of pricey, and we've replaced it a couple times. So we've got the oil filter assembly on, the crack pipe, the thermostat housing. Now we're putting on the oil pump, and there's supposed to be a small little gasket that goes towards the front. I didn't use one on my 24 valve either, so we ended up putting some gray RTV, redoing the front main seal, getting that ready, and then we prepped for installing the pan. We ended up finding a couple threads that need to be chased down a little bit later with tap. So you'll see 1 or 2 of them that won't be installed that we couldn't really put down. And I won't lie to you, I don't have a decent tap kit, so we're going to have to fix that later. But accessory bar, water pump, alternator, you know, everything got pretty much installed, which is kind of cool. The motor's actually coming together. It's actually looking like a full motor, so that was kind of cool. Now we're just waiting on this timing cover so we can, you know, tomorrow install the flywheel clutch, mate the motor and trans together, get it into the car. Now we're throwing onto the upper timing cover, the valve cover, I mean. And that's it. Now it's starting to look like a real motor, luckily. So it's starting to look like a motor, Stav.
I mean, it always looked like a motor. Now it's starting to be an assembled motor.
So pretty much...
we have the water pump on, the tensioner on, the front, all the seals on, the oil pan's on, the oil pump's in. George managed to get the alternator on by himself after I got everything else done by myself.
Yeah, we'll let the time lapse do the talking. But
yeah, I mean, George, I want to give you the opportunity to work on a great motor. You know, honestly.
All right, so what's left? So the back side of the motor, unfortunately, we don't have the timing cover on. What happens?
When pulling out the timing cover, the rear main seal got damaged. So
let's look on the back side so we can show them exactly.
Yeah, it's
but you don't need oil pressure or oil seal. It's fine. A little oil in the clutch is fine.
I mean, yeah, then it's called the wet clutch, you know. But just like your DSG, but this is not a DSG, so this will not be okay.
So today's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday,
and
Wednesday morning in a motor. No, so I ordered a a new rear main seal that'll be here tomorrow. I'm going to go pick it up. We'll install it. I'll install it, make sure it gets installed correctly. And then we'll put it on the motor, seal it up, and then throw the flywheel clutch and then the transmission on.
That's pretty much the only thing stopping us from mating the motor and the trans now. That
Well, no,
rear
after we do
timing
that, we
cover.
got to put the clutch on it. We need a clutch in between.
Well, no, I'm saying that's what's stopping us from actually mating it. So right now, for us to continue installing the clutch and the flywheel, we need that timing cover on. So tomorrow we'll get that rear main seal. We'll install that clutch and flywheel. We'll mate the trans. We may even just throw it into the bay tomorrow and then button up everything on Thursday.
Correct. We'll probably have it in tomorrow, and then Thursday, running, driving, make an 1800 wheel.
Okay, and then what? All right, and then what's left on? This man always talks about power. Never been to the dyno.
Well, I mean, you've been to the dyno, but still lost to me in a race. So
Get out of here. All right, so we're not putting the actual turbo manifold and turbo kit on. We're gonna wait till the actual.
No,
motor's in the car.
we'll put the motor in the car because it's easier to get the hoist around. We'll put it in and then throw it back in, and then make 1800 wheels.
Stop! Why? I got a message just right now on Instagram. How come you look like one of the Home Alone 2 thieves?
Do you remember that the last time? So what George is referring to, the last time I went to watch Hank drag race when he went 9.4 front wheel drive because the drive shaft, it was cold, so I was wearing a beanie just like today. You know,
You look homeless.
Yeah, the guy. One of the great comments we got in the video was, "Why does Stav look like a Home Alone villain?" I thought that was great.
All right, so that's pretty much all that's left, guys. That's gonna wrap up part 7 now. Tomorrow we're gonna get in the rear main seal. We'll slap on the rear timing cover. We're gonna install. Oh, and just remind, are you still going with the single disc? Or
No, I'm going with the twin disc. You know,
So we're gonna go with the twin disc Tilton.
Correct.
All right,
with the 034 flywheel, good for about 3,700 wheel.
And we'll have that in tomorrow, and then maybe even the motor sitting in the bay, and then Thursday we'll spend pretty much the entire day buttoning everything up. So I think that's a wrap for part 7, guys. We've gotten the motor pretty much all assembled and done. We still have to torque the crank bolt once we're done on there, but
We don't want it flying off.
everything else is pretty much on, guys, and that's pretty much it. I'm George.
I'm Stav.
This is Malaka Motorsports. This is the conclusion of part 7. Tomorrow will be part 8. Thanks for watching, as always. We'll catch you guys in the next episode.